So I took this picture of a girl on a dirt bike with my Nikon D600. I took the picture on a winter afternoon, the overcast sky, gray, gloomy, uh, gloomy day. But my Nikon did a pretty good job capturing this image, even with those unfavorable lighting conditions. Uh, Although not bad from the technical standpoint, the picture itself is not that interesting. It's kind of static, not a lot of colors, and it's a good snapshot of that point in time, of that moment, uh, but not really something that you would want to print out and hang up on the wall. So I'll try to use Darktable, which is the open source free software for image editing, and turn it into something more dynamic, more interesting, maybe into something that I eventually am going to print and hang up on the wall. So I normally start with, by the way, this image is straight from the camera, this in RAW format. So I'll have to play it with it a little bit to turn it into something more dynamic with more contrast and more complete as a picture. So I'm going to start with white balance, because the camera, especially on a gray day like that one, sometimes is not able to determine the white balance correctly. So I want to run the spot function within Darktable and see if it's going to improve the white balance, and it did. The image got a little brighter and crispier, and also a little warmer, which I like. So I'm gonna keep it that way. So from here, I'm going to turn on the highlights and shadows detection, and I can see some overblown highlights and some crushed blacks in the shadows. So I'm going to go to the exposure module and try the auto function to remedy that. And sure enough, the exposure function in Darktable normally does a very good job looking at the overblown highlights and even addressing the shadows. But in this case, I guess they're a little too deep. So I'm going to use the black level correction slider to lift them up a little bit. So from here, I'm going to move on to the filmic module, because I'm going after that effect that this picture was taken on the film negative camera. And of course, the crash blocks are back, but we can fix it in a moment. So I'm going to go to levels now and turn on the auto function, and from here I'm going to slide the white point slider to the right, because I still want to eliminate those overblown pixels there. And now I can play with the gray point to help lift the shadows a little bit more, because I don't want them entirely black. I still want to be able to see some detail there. So now I'm back to the white point slider. I just removing those overblown pixels again, and I'm kind of happy with what I'm getting now. I still want to have those blacks to be a little more crashed, so I'm gonna go to the tone curve and just lift the blacks a little bit and now crush them. So I have less detail in the shadows, but still I'm able to see that crash blocks effect. So maybe something like that. Okay, from here I'm gonna go back to levels, because I want to improve the contrast a little bit. So I'm gonna move the black point to the right a little bit, so it's gonna make the shadows even more darker, like here, and the white point to the left to lift the highlights, maybe a little too much. So I'm gonna move back, but I'm kind of happy with the overall effect. So I'm gonna go back and just push the highlights down. Okay. And that's more or less the effect I'm after. Now I have to play with the crop a little bit because, again, this image looks a little static. The girl in the picture was moving very slow at that point when I was taking the picture. So I would like to create the impression of the bike moving a little faster and that girl working a little harder to control it, just to add more dynamism, some sort of a story to this picture. So first of all, since I'm not seeing that so many colors in this picture and just those three little areas here and that red dot, but in general I'm not seeing that many colors, larger areas of colors, I think I'm gonna turn it into a black and white picture. It looks like a perfect candidate to me, at least. So I'm gonna go to I'm gonna go to contrast. I'm gonna go to channel mixer, and I have several options to convert this color image into a black and white image, and I have some presets for a stock black and white film, but I don't want to do that because I was using my Nikon, so I don't want to create an artificial impression that I was using another camera or another film stock. So I'm just going to go with the black and white luminance based conversion, which is just going to take the luminance and change the color pixels into the grayscale pixels. So that's the effect I kind of like. I think at this point I would like to add a little bit of clarity just to improve the contrast. And sure enough, the highlights are back, so I'm gonna go, the overblown highlights are back, so I'm gonna go back to the tone curve module and keep sliding the highlights end of the graph down just to eliminate those red areas, because I don't like to have any overblown pixels in this picture. So that's that, and at this point I think I can start working on the crop, so which is gonna help with the composition and the dynamic nature of this picture. So I'm going to go to crop and rotate in Darktable. First of all, I'm gonna try to rotate this picture right, and actually I like what I'm seeing now, so I'm gonna keep rotating the picture until the bottom edge of the glove here hits the until the glove hits the bottom of the glove hits the bottom edge of the picture. Maybe back a little bit, because it looks like it runs over the edge of the picture. And from here I'm going to play with the cropping to achieve the most dynamic effect, and I think that's what does the work, actually does the job. I don't want to see the whole helmet there. I just want to be more I just want to have a more tighter crop, and this is what I like right now. So if I now go back, I'm seeing a pretty tight crop on the girl. The blurry background, the eyes in the focus, but I think I can still improve the sharpness in her eyes. So if I go back to contrast equalizer, and I'm gonna just create another instance of it, and I'm gonna increase the sharpness just of the finest detail in the image, right, like there. So her eyes now in focus, sharp in focus right now. I can even see her eyelashes. So this module works pretty good, increasing the sharpness of the small details in the image. I think I'm getting close to the final effect I was after. So just to kind of see how it's gonna look like when printed on a piece of paper or on canvas, I'm going to, well, I think in the meantime I'm still gonna add some vignetting to add more emphasis on the girl's face and her body. So I'm just gonna change the shape to something more squarish, so I'm not seeing those dark corners. And I'm just gonna play with the size of the vignette. So I think I'm seeing too much of a darkening, especially on the left hand side. So I'm gonna move it to the left a little bit and make it a little bigger. And now I'm just gonna turn it on and off and see what difference does it make. Well, it makes difference, definitely. It helps to shift the focus of the viewer to the face and the body of the girl, definitely. So I'm gonna get out of the vignette module, and now I'm gonna go to framing, and I'm just gonna use a 12.5% 3x2 frame. And I think that's the effect I'm after. So I think at this point, this is something I could probably print, or just take it to a print shop and have it printed by a professional print shop, and frame it and hang it. And I think that would make for a pretty good portrait picture of a girl on a dirt bike. And let's compare that to the original picture, which was that. We just used the Darktable to turn that raw picture from my Nikon D600 into this portrait of a girl on a dirt bike.